Hello everypony, and welcome to the continuation of the highly anticipated Part 2 of Nature's Eyes, Chapter 1, Scarlet Nightshade. Rainbow Dash awoke with a start. She had just awoken from a dream where she was falling, and the feeling that came with it was what woke her. She called it the kick, and she hated it with a passion. She called it the kick because the experience that it brought on could be comparable to being bucked by Applejack, or in some cases, Big Mac. She described it like so. She would fall in the dream, and when she hit the ground, a white flash would go in front of her eyes, and a blast of heat would go through her head, and an ear-piercing ringing sound would scream through her ears, thus waking her up in a cold sweat. It was a rather grisly experience, and she usually had them once every couple of months. She didn't really take these kicks to heart, though. It usually just meant the day was gonna suck. Ah, she groaned. I don't even want to get out of bed now. Crap. But if she didn't get out of bed now, she never would. She had the choice of either skipping the day by sleeping in until the next dawn, or facing the day head on. Being who she wasn't about to just quit. She lazily pulled herself out of bed and rubbed the sleep out of her eyes, heading for the bathroom to wash her face. That was another thing she hated about the kick. It always left her sweaty. And the only way she could get rid of the kind of sweat the kick would produce was to wash up. She made her way to the sink, which made of enchanted porcelain, enchanted so that it would stay up in the clouds with her, and porcelain because she liked the smoothness of it against her hooves. She normally wasn't bothered by such concerns as what should the sink be made out of, because that would fall under the purview of Rarity's expertise. But for some reason, Dash had insisted that she get porcelain for her sink, as well as for her toilet and bathtub. Most ponies wouldn't care about such a thing, whether their bathrooms were made of porcelain or plastic, or in some cases even wood. But for Dash, she loved the texture of the porcelain, and as often as she had the kick, she wanted to make sure she wasn't uncomfortable as she washed herself after an especially nasty one. She splashed her face a couple times and looked in the mirror. She looked awful. Her eyes were red and sullen, and filled with sleep that she had yet to rub out of her eyes, even though she thought she had done that already. She wasn't surprised, though. That always came from the kick, and she was used to it by now. Her coat was frazzled, a couple feathers on her wings were out of place, and her mane looked absolutely no different from what it usually looked like. She chuckled at this. She looked like she had gotten the worst case of a combination of pink eye and the flu. Her mane looked perfectly fine, though. Of course, her appearance was nothing that a good old-fashioned shower couldn't take care of.